Stop going to every open mic and showcase in the city. You could be wasting time and money and not seeing any real returns. But not all open mics and showcases are bad. Here are just some things you need to know. Let's break this video down into 3 sections. Section number 1 is going to be what open mics and showcases are good for. Section 2 is going to be what you should look out for. And section 3 is going to be when to perform. Starting with section 1, what are open mics and showcases good for? First off, what is an open mic and a showcase? An open mic and or a showcase is a live opportunity for you to perform. Usually open mics will be any kind of talent. You'll normally see a lot of singers, rappers, and comedians. Those are going to be your main talents on stage. You might also see some poets in there as well. So it's more variety of different types of creatives who would get up on stage and perform. Whereas a showcase, it's typically a set amount of artists who were invited to perform, and it's strictly going to be a music event. That is the main difference between open mics, so make sure you understand which event it is you are attending. Open mics and showcases are a great networking opportunity to meet other artists, to meet DJs, to meet club promoters, to just get a sense of what kind of venues out there are offering these spaces. And it really gets you into the city, exploring the city that you live in so you can see what the music scene looks like. Open mics and showcases are great for practicing your stage presence and your material. If you have a song that you released, or if you just want to get in the habit of performing and learning how to control and interact with a crowd, you can use open mics and showcases as a way to do that. More so open mics than showcases. At open mics, another difference that you might see is there's going to be a lot more amateurs at an open mic versus at a showcase. Typically, the artists are a lot more polished, so keep that in mind. But in general, open mics and showcases are great places to practice your material, to present your material. So just keep that in mind. Other things that open mics and showcases are good for: capturing content. If you need some content for your social media, you need to take pictures of you on stage or video of you performing, open mics and showcases are obviously a gold mine for that type of content. It's you in your element doing what you're supposed to do as an artist. And so it's a great opportunity to collect content. It's also another great opportunity to sell your merchandise. So if you are a little bit more of a polished artist, you might have posters, you might have t-shirts, you might have hats, other kind of merch, you might have lighters, you might have CDs, whatever you have. This is also a great opportunity to try to sell some of that stuff and make a little bit of extra money. On top of it being a great networking event, it's also an opportunity to build your contact list and build your email list. Something that I used to do all the time when I was going to open mics and showcases. No matter where I was going, I always kept an email sign-up list, and I offered some kind of free merchandise in a way to entice people to sign up for my email list. And this email list, it's information. It's very powerful to have information on the kinds of people who are showing up to these music scenes and the kinds of people who might end up being your fans. If you can get information out of people, then you are able to stay in touch with them. You are able to have a better likelihood of creating that artist audience relationship with them. So going to shows, I would collect email addresses and I would offer a free CD in exchange, or I would say, hey, give me your email address and I'll send you a copy of the song that I performed tonight. If you have maybe more sophisticated merchandise and your budget allows for it, maybe you can offer a free poster, maybe you can offer a free lighter, free t-shirt, whatever you're comfortable with. But getting an email list together and gathering contact information is very powerful. And open mics and showcases are great for getting the contacts with DJs, other artists, promoters, the venues, the managers, just all of those things. So that is what open mics and showcases are really good for. Let's move on to section number 2. As good as open mics and showcases can be, here are the things that you need to look out for when participating in them. First and foremost, be careful if you are having to pay every single time you do one of these events. Now, open mics, you are typically going to have to pay to participate unless it's a free open mic situation. But Worst case scenario I've seen for open mics, you might pay a cover charge at the door, and that will get you the ability to perform one song. It's usually first come, first serve. Whoever was there earliest, they get to go on earliest on stage. If you arrived a little later or you signed up a little later, you run the risk of not going on until past midnight, past the time when most people have already left. So keep that in mind. But you definitely want to be mindful if you are having to pay more than $50 to perform 2 or 3 songs. This stuff really does add up. If you don't have a problem with paying this, then you can kind of tune out this particular piece of advice. But I personally would be mindful of the money that I'm spending at open mics, because this money could always be put towards photo shoots and video shoots and merch and studio time, mixing and mastering. It's very expensive being an artist, and if you don't have any money to perfect the craft because you're spending it all on open mics, then maybe you should reconsider how you're distributing your funds, right? But it can get very pricey if you're doing too many open mics and too many showcases that are charging you to perform. It's not just the cover charge at the door. It can be you're paying extra to perform an extra amount of songs. It can be for women in the wardrobe and the makeup and the hair that we have to make sure we are presenting ourselves properly. And for the men too, buying clothes to look the part of the artist, right? You could also end up paying parking fees, transportation. You might pay for the food. There might be hookah because, you want to go out and enjoy yourself. But those things definitely add up. And if you're doing too much of that, you're spending a lot of money going out. So just be mindful if you're paying all the time for open mics and showcases. For showcases, especially if you've been invited to perform, you don't really have to worry about this as much and I've been in a lot of situations where I've been invited to perform for a showcase and I did not have to worry about any kind of fees, because pretty much the promoter took on the task of getting people in the door, and I am the curated entertainment for the night, so I don't have to pay. Just look out for those situations. To add on to the fact that it can be very expensive if you are paying for every single open mic and showcase, be very mindful that you are not paying to perform for a slot during a festival that doesn't make sense for you. So there are plenty of reputable festivals out there. Probably the most popular between Atlanta and Texas anyway, it's A3C and South by Southwest, right? Make sure that if you are paying for a slot to perform at the festival, that you are actually paying the festival to do the performance. I know in Atlanta anyway, there used to be so many venues who are not official A3C venues, but they will charge artists to perform for A3C. Technically, you are performing for A3C, but you are not performing on an official A3C stage. And I suspect you have to be very careful about the same thing in South by Southwest. Make sure that if you are paying to perform and it makes sense for you to pay that much money for that slot, because these slots go for like $300 to $500 for like 5 to 10 minutes, right? Make sure that if you are signing up for it, that it is through the festival itself and that it makes sense for you with your budget. If it does not make sense for you, do not do it. If they are not an official venue or an official site of the festival, do not do it. If it doesn't make sense for you financially, don't do it. Because a lot of times you could be putting that money towards, and it's actually better used if you put that money towards photo shoots, video shoots, advertising, right? Paying for promotion. Or at a basic level, you could be using that money for studio time, mixing and mastering to make sure that the product of the music is good, right? So be very mindful about what you are paying for. I cannot stress that enough. Something else you want to be mindful of when you are performing for open mics and showcases: what is the audience going to look like? With open mics, the reason why I say they are a great option to practice your material and showcases are more for the polished artists is because when you are in an open mic, I would say don't go in expecting to make fans, because you are likely performing for other independent artists, other comedians, other poets, other rappers, other singers, right? The audience is going to be majority aspirational music artists. It's not necessarily going to be anybody big in the building. On the other side, with showcases, usually showcases are more curated events. Somebody usually reached out to you and asked you to be a part of this event because they have been paying attention to your music, they've been following you, they like your sound, or they are curating a certain vibe for this event and you fit that vibe. In that instance, the audience is likely to be more normal, everyday people, not just only artists. You might even have some music executives in the audience for a showcase. It's possible with an open mic as well, but not as likely as it would be at a showcase. This also ties into me giving you warning about being okay with paying for certain things versus knowing when not to pay. If you are constantly paying to perform and the only people you ever perform in front of are other artists, I don't think that's a great investment for you. However, if you are paying a certain fee, but you are getting access to more normal people, people who are likely to turn over to be fans and listen to your music, or you know that you'll be in front of some major players, then it is more worth it to pay for something like that. You really just have to look at what is your purpose for performing and why are you paying? Does this make sense? If it makes sense for you, then go for it. If it doesn't make sense, hold on to your coin. And lastly, what you want to watch out for to know if something is a good opportunity and if it makes sense with these open mics and showcases, how many artists are on the ticket. Open mics, they're more open for anybody to pop up. And a lot of these venues will take your money and throw you up on stage whatever time they feel like it. Versus a showcase is typically going to be more curated. Typically, there's going to be a cap on how many people are performing. At an open mic, there's usually way too many people performing. If you don't get there in time, if you don't have a decent sign-up slot, what ends up happening is you perform so early that nobody is there, or you perform so late that nobody is there. So be very careful about who you are performing for when it comes to these open mics. And I would say this is more so for anybody who might be coming to support you at the show. Be mindful with open mics that if you did not sign up at a decent time, your people could either not make it because you are the first one on the stage, or they got tired and had to leave because you didn't go on until 2 a.m. in the morning and it's a Tuesday and people have work in the morning. Okay. I've been in so many situations like that. Be very mindful about what you are inviting people to come to. Again, on the other side with the showcases, a more curated event, you have more control or more say of when you'll be on stage, and your people who are coming to support you will have a better idea of when will be a good time to come and see you. Or there aren't so many artists on the ticket that they don't mind staying for the entire event because they know that you are one of the 5 artists on the showcase versus one of the 50 artists who signed up at an open mic. So just be very mindful and look out for all of these things, okay? Now let's talk about when to perform, okay? The best time to perform is when you understand why you are going to do it. Attach a purpose to why you are going to do something. And especially if you are spending money, attach a purpose. Why? Understand your reasoning. Are you going to practice a new song? Are you going just to get in the vibe and the habit of performing because you want to improve your stage presence? In that case, does it matter who is in the building, right? Are you getting content? Are you networking? Who do you want to network with? Are you coming into this situation because you want to meet other artists, because you want to do some collaborations? Or are you networking with DJs? Are you networking with the promoter? Are you networking with the manager of the venue? Are you networking with potential fans, people who are going to listen to your music and support you? Keep all of these things in mind. Do you want to sell merch? Do you want to beef up your contact list? Attach a reason and understand why you're doing it before you go do it. Again, I'm going to give a lot of praise to a showcase situation. I'm going to repeat this over and over again. A showcase is typically a more curated event. So when should you perform? For me personally, I graduated from doing every open mic to only performing when I was invited to now I get paid to perform at weekly shows, right? So when you are invited to perform somewhere, I would say take a chance on it and say yes. Sometimes you may have to pay, sometimes you may not, sometimes you may have to sell tickets. Again, you have to determine whether that makes sense. It's not a good thing or a bad thing, just does it make sense for you? What kind of people do you know are going to be there? Are you going to have merch to be able to recoup some of your money or sell some of your things and make some money that night? Are you going to have a good crop of people in the audience that you want to connect with? Make it make sense, right? But when someone is inviting you to perform, you know that you are wanted in the space. You know that they have chosen you for a specific reason because they like you and you've proven yourself in some way with the music that you've done, right? And with being invited, depending on who invited you, you kind of know who that person is related to, who they're linked to, and what kind of people they're going to have in the audience. If this is a good person, a quality person who invited you to the show, they're likely to have good and quality people in the audience as well. And that's when you most definitely want to say yes to this opportunity. Another reason to perform, when you feel like you need more content. You don't even need a huge audience for this. You just need to have the visual of you being up on stage, or have video, have pictures, have behind the scenes of getting ready for a show, all of those things. If you need content, then that's a great reason to perform as well. And I'm going to repeat this one more time. It is always a great idea to perform when you want to practice your new material or just get up your performance chops and improve your stage presence. That is always a great reason to perform. If that is your sole purpose for going to an open mic or a showcase, then I say, hell yeah, go do it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Lex Chat. If this helped you, then make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And in the comments, let me know about any topics you want to chat about next. But until then, my name is LexC. Peace.
You was on for a minute, you was known for a minute, and you zone for a minute, huh? Yeah, but since them lights got bright and them stories start spinning, you been gone for a minute, huh? Yo, they see them blogs come at you and them lawsuits hit you, now that when your real image, huh? Yo, that's why you never say your soul for the platinum or the gold or the champagne finish, gone.
If the sun don't shine tonight, promise I ain't letting go.